Yay! Word on the street! Word on the street! It's coming in hot! Coming in hot!
Okay.
Good morning.
Can you hear me, Babs?
I can.
I'm going to be introducing someone and putting the phone so close to him so you can see him. But first, I want to know, am I right side up?
Yes, you are.
Okay, say good morning to Carl. He's filing his tooth of his saw. And Carl, good morning. Welcome to Love Babs Love Talk.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Good. What are you up to today, Carl?
Sharpening the chainsaw, getting it ready to finish taking down this tree. Where I work for the city, the tree crew of the city of New Haven. We're going to be taking this tree down next to me over here. So doing a little maintenance on the saw. It was a little dull, so we're sharpening it up.
So has this saw seen a lot of trees?
It has seen a lot of trees. This saw is probably 7-8 years old now, so this is probably cutting through hundreds, maybe close to 1,000 trees.
Wow, Magnum saw, right?
Yep.
And then how many times can you keep sharpening like this and it'll still be good?
It all depends really, how bad the saw is. You kind of grind it down a little harder as the teeth wear out as they go. So if they're not worn out so bad, it's just a quick little 1-2. But sometimes you got to give it a good grind. But I would say about 10 sharpens, you get a good out of a good chain. You know what I mean?
And you sharpen it once a year?
Oh God, no! It all depends. There's stuff growing in the tree. Sometimes you don't see the fences or rods. And it dulls it out. As soon as you hit something, rocks, sand, it's bad. So, but I mean, if you're on top of it, you can keep your saw really nice.
So, Carl, when you're taking down trees, you're trying to keep our environment steady, right? A tree sometimes needs to come down. You want the other to stay up.
Yeah.
It's taking care of a blade like this.
It's
the same kind of mission of trying to preserve rather than throwing stuff out.
Absolutely.
Tell me about that.
I actually do know companies that will, to save time, they'll have a bunch of chains on their truck. And don't get me wrong, that's great. They'll bring them home and sharpen them. But some guys are real lazy. They don't put a sharpen on anything, and they'll just, they got money like that. So they'll just take the chain, throw it out, and put a new one on there. And I like to preserve it. I think it cuts better when I sharpen it because it's my liking at that point,
But it's more like
a chef's knife, it's perfect that way.
And do you have a relationship with this, like the way a chef does with a knife? Do you know this machine? How long have you used this Magnum?
About 10 years now. I've been cutting trees down, and it's an art, man. It really is. Science, art, math. You have to make thousands of decisions every second of the day. I love doing what I do.
Now, have you used the same tool for how long?
This one, I've been working for the city for 3 years now, so this one's seen some time before even me. But I've been this same style saw I've been using since I started. So yeah,
3 years.
Yeah.
Now, what got you into tree work?
My brother actually got me into tree work. I ended up working for Asplin Tree Service, and then I ended up getting really lucky and landing a job with the city after a bunch of years of training, and I ended up getting really lucky.
Now, why does this tree need to come down today here on House Street?
It actually has a crack up in the leader right up there, and all the pedestrians and dog walkers, and
so there's a chance this could have fallen on a dog walker pedestrian.
Absolutely. We don't normally take healthy trees down around here unless it's usually a hazard. Reason why we're out here,
And so this wasn't otherwise healthy, or no?
It had some cancerous spots in it too. All in all, it needed to come down.
What kind of tree is it?
This is an elm tree, actually.
An elm tree in the Elm City. We still got some.
Elm City.
When you're off work, do you relate to trees at all? Do you go?
We do. Me and my brother do tree work on the side, but I mean, it kind of flows in my everyday life.
Tell me about that.
So we actually split wood. We like to save it for the burnt. It's funny, like the whole process of taking a tree down. You could take it down, and then some people just think that the wood is gone, but no. I mean, you could take it, you could split it, you can heat your house that way. There's a lot of fundamentals of the whole tree aspect.
Do you do that, Carl?
Yes, we do.
What kind of stove do you have at your house?
We have a little wood stove. It does not enough to heat the house, but it's it helps.
They smell great.
It
And tell me, I meant like when you're not working. Do you walk in the woods at all?
Oh yeah, big hiker. I do like my relaxing time.
And does it involve trees?
It does.
Tell me about that.
So actually, one of my favorite spots to hike is Sleeping Giant, and obviously out in the woods. I have a little nephew. He's 13 years old. We haven't gone hiking in a little bit, but he's getting into snowboarding now. Everything we do is just out in the. I'm never like in my house. I'm in my house when I'm done at the end of the day. not a big TV guy. I like to be hands-on doing something at all times.
Well, you like Sleeping Giant. I don't go there a lot, but I was there the other day for a hike to one I'd never gone to before. And it's like there are so many trails you could go for years and end up in one you never in before.
Exactly. There's a lot of cool apps I just found on my phone too that like give you trails that, like you said, right off the beaten path. You know, like oh, you can take the blue or green trail, and sometimes there's a trail like you said you never even seen before, and that's where you find the waterfalls and the.
So as a tree guy, are you getting into any other stuff that's been coming out recent years about how the fungi under the ground connect the trees, and like miles and worlds away trees are actually communicating to each other, letting each other know where water sources are?
No, I've actually never really gotten into.
You read the Overstory or any of that?
I do know what you're talking about. That is wild. I would like to get into a little black hole of that. I'd like to read into that.
Well, I guess what's made me wonder about who are these trees we walk by every day? Do you ever look at the trees and think about that?
It's amazing. It really is. It's a whole system in themselves, you know, like, well, we wouldn't be all alive if the trees weren't here, you know, so.
And how do you feel in terms of your job every day, making sure trees don't fall on people's heads?
Oh, I think I love it. You know, it's definitely, like I said, it's an art. I don't think everybody can do it. You definitely takes a certain person to do it. And
so you have the art of keeping this tool in good shape. What about the art of cutting down trees? You talked about how there are 1,000 decisions, that every minute you're making a whole bunch of different decisions. What are some of those decisions today you'll be making?
Well, like you said, you know, you asked me why we were taking this tree down, and you know, with the pedestrians and stuff, so we have to make sure we're blocking the pedestrians from coming, let alone just the decision of cutting the tree itself. You know, there's just, yeah, you have to take the tree down, but you have to pay attention to everything else that's going around. You see people coming out of houses, walking animals. People are always on their cell phones now. Nobody ever has their head up watching us take trees down. So headphones on, you gotta, it's a very populated area where we're taking trees down.
And then how about the way a tree falls? Do you have to make decisions when you look at the grain? Like right now you said there's a cut in the tree?
Yep, there's a split in the limb. So, you know, if you go up there and start cutting the top part of it, it might split and the top part might go flying on you instead of the whole piece. So you have to keep that in mind. There's just so many decisions you have to keep in mind.
So now you're using a file to sharpen the teeth here, right?
Yes.
What kind of file is it?
A little 3/8 file, a little round file. I like to keep a round file. The new thing is people are putting square edges on their chains. I'm the old school. I like the circle file still.
Oh, you mean they use square edge files?
They put a square edge on their tooth instead of this round.
Oh, and is the idea that it makes it sharper?
You know, I think it's I haven't even tried it yet, so I can't even put an argument on that. But actually, a lot of people are going another argument: electric saws to gas saws. You know, that's a big thing. I'm not a big electric saw fan yet. I mean, I think
you're old school.
Yeah, I'm old school. I like the engines. I think they have just a little bit more to them, and maybe in the upcoming years we'll be able to see what the electric saws are going to do for us. But
Babs, any questions for Carl Zemke here out on House Street while he's working and being kind enough to talk to us?
Yes. So Carl, tell me what can we as citizens do to be better stewards of our trees and our communities and neighborhoods?
You know, people like to, the only thing I can really see that we can do is, I see a lot of cars parking their cars like right on the bottom of the trees, you know, like the roots of the trees. That's actually really not good for them. It really ends up suffocating them. And that's really like the only thing I could see out in the city of New Haven, you know.
How about dogs peeing on trees?
You know, that doesn't really affect anything. You know, I mean, you know, it's actually anything, you know, the feces, you know, that's almost like a fertilizer, you know, it really doesn't really affect anything like that. But, you know, yeah, I would say just driving up around the roots of the trees and stuff, you could really do some damage to them and start killing them off, you know.
And maybe when you're walking, don't always be on your cell phone.
Yeah, look around every once in a while. There's stuff going around. You might be interested, you know.
All right, Babs, can I ask him the question from outer space? 4 times the last week we've shot down, or a little more than a week, these unidentified flying, except for the one Chinese weather balloon. Are you any concerned that today, while you're working up in the tree, there'll be some kind of flying object over your head getting shot down by the U.S. government?
It sounds crazy. I wouldn't mind seeing it, but it is crazy what's going on.
Any theories about what these are?
Oh, I mean, I hope they're just collecting data. That's what I'm going for.
Babs, any questions for Carl?
No, thank you. Thank you very much for your service.
And what a fun way to start the week, meeting Carl and hearing what he's up to. And this is Paul and Carl at House Street signing off. Love Babs.
Yay! See? you would have had no idea of how the trees are taken such good care of in our city if we didn't meet Carl. Thank you, Carl. And Carl's old school, sharpening his saw, getting ready to, pay attention, because we just see them working. We don't think about what goes into that. So I appreciate that. I really do.